Good morning, sisters and brothers. What a joy to welcome you here for another Bible study. In today's study, we are going to discover that we have often been taught to see the Creator only as a severe and punitive judge. But today's word sets us free from that burden. John's text reveals that perfect love drives out all fear, because fear is closely linked to the idea of punishment. When we understand that we are loved without reservation, dread gives way to peace. Finally, the chapter ends with a very direct foundation. It is impossible to love God, whom we do not see, if we do not love our brother, whom we do see. The commandment is clear. Whoever loves God must also love their neighbor. Let's dive together into this beautiful teaching of love and brotherhood. Let's get to the study. 1 John chapter 4 verses 16 through 21. And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them. This is how love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence on the day of judgment. In this world, we are like Jesus. There is no fear in love. But perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. We love because he first loved us. Whoever claims to love God, yet hates a brother or sister, is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother and sister, whom they have seen, cannot love God, whom they have not seen. And he has given us this command: anyone who loves God must also love their brother and sister. John writes at a time when Christianity was shifting from a small movement to face the crushing weight of a hostile empire and its first major internal divisions. In the late 1st century, within Ephesus and the communities of Asia Minor, followers of Jesus lived under the shadow of persecution and uncertainty. Many of these believers came from pagan backgrounds, raised under the influence of distant, capricious, and often cruel deities who demanded constant sacrifices based on fear. For these people, the idea of a punitive divinity was the standard, the norm. It is in this setting of spiritual exhaustion and social dread that John, now elderly and possessing the wisdom of one who walked beside the Master, brings a definition that reorganizes the entire human perception of the sacred. The central message here stems from an urgent need to counter teachings that sought to separate faith from practical life. Groups existed that claimed what we did in the physical world with our bodies and our brothers did not matter for salvation. John rebuts this with extraordinary strength, showing that love is not merely a feeling, but the very essence of God manifested in what is tangible. By saying that God is love, he is not just assigning him an attribute, but establishing that wherever authentic love is present, God dwells there in a grand way. This was revolutionary for an era where religion was almost always a transaction of fear, to avoid heavenly punishment or the fury of earthly rulers. The historical context also reveals that Christians suffered under the pressure to deny their faith before the Roman system. The fear of judgment mentioned in the text was not just a theological concept regarding the end times, but a daily reality in human courts. John encourages these people to understand that perfect love places us in a position of security that no imperial decree can remove. When the apostle speaks of love driving out fear, he is offering a refuge for hearts being bombarded by external threats. He reminds us that if we are united to God through love, there is no judge on this earth or beyond who can separate us from this absolute and constant protection. Ultimately, John's insistence on the relationship with others serves as a check against spiritual isolation. Back then, as today, it was tempting to create a spirituality that lived only in the clouds, far from the difficulties of living with imperfect people. John tears down that wall. He makes it clear that the proof of knowing this God who is love lies not in visions or eloquent words, but in our ability to see the Creator's face in the face of the brother standing beside us. This foundation brought dignity to the enslaved, the marginalized, and the women of that society, as everyone became recipients of a love that made no distinction and demanded to be shared to be real. This realization that the face of our brother or sister is where we encounter the Creator completely transforms the way we walk upon this earth every day. When we move from theory into the practice of life, we understand that loving those beside us is not a burden or a dull religious rule, but rather the greatest privilege a human being can have. Imagine the freedom of waking up every day knowing that you don't need to earn God's affection through sacrifices or impossible perfection simply because you are already accepted. This understanding lifts from our shoulders that heavy weight of trying to be perfect just to avoid punishment. Life takes on much more vivid colors when we realize that the love we receive from above is the same fuel we use to reach out to those who cross our path, whether in the grocery store line, at work, or within our own living room. Living in the light of these teachings from John means that the fear of making mistakes no longer paralyzes our steps. If perfect love drives out all fear, then you have permission to be an authentic person, to start over as many times as necessary, and to look at your failures as stepping stones for growth, rather than final sentences. When you face financial difficulties, family problems, or doubts about tomorrow, you can do so with a deep calm because you know there is a constant presence embracing you, one that does not look at you with the harshness the world often does. This friendly voice speaking to our hearts teaches us that the best way to honor life is by being a channel of kindness. Every gesture of patience with someone difficult, every word of encouragement you give, and every act of charity that no one sees is real proof that God's love is growing and maturing within you. Therefore, carry this certainty with you today. You are deeply loved even before you do anything to deserve that affection. This is the foundation for a story full of hope and renewal. Do not allow thoughts of condemnation or the shadows of the past to steal your peace. The invitation we receive today is for a journey of lightness, where our main goal is to let this love overflow so much that the people around us feel there is something special and different about the way we live. Let every encounter you have today be a chance to put this beautiful biblical truth into practice. When we decide to care for our neighbor, we are, in fact, nurturing our relationship with God Himself. It is a cycle of gratitude renewed every morning, making us feel that we never walk alone. For where love dwells, there also dwells the presence of the one who gave us life. Now, I would like us to pause for a moment to absorb all the peace and clarity that the Word has brought us. I want to invite you to close your eyes now, to set your worries aside, and to calm the rhythm of your breathing. Let us join our thoughts and our hearts in a moment of sincere and intimate conversation with the Father, seeking for this revelation of love that conquers fear to become a deep root in our souls, guiding each and every one of our next steps. Beloved Father, today we open our hearts to receive the clarity of that love which surrounds and sustains us. We thank you for having loved us first, even before we knew what true goodness was. Remove from us, Lord, every shadow of fear that still insists on paralyzing us. So often we feel small and unworthy, fearing a punishment that does not align with your true nature. Therefore, we ask that your perfect love fill every corner of our souls, driving out the anxiety and guilt that prevent us from walking with joy. Teach us to see your light in the eyes of those who cross our paths. May our faith not consist of words alone, but be transformed into embraces, extended hands, and patience toward those around us. If we cannot love the brother or sister we see, how could we claim to love you? May this truth guide us today and always, making us instruments of a peace that the world cannot provide, but which we find in abundance within you. Strengthen our spirits so that every action of ours reflects the security of one who is an heir to your grace, living without the weight of judgment and with the courage of one who knows they are accepted and cherished by you. Amen. I'm so glad you stayed with us until the end. Your presence is a gift. If this study touched your heart, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. This simple act is very important as it helps the video reach more people and expand the impact of our message. Please comment Amen so I know you were here with us until the very end. Share this video with someone who values this word so we can strengthen our Bible study community together. Your support truly matters in this mission of spreading faith. And remember, God is always with you.